Settling ourselves onto our mats. We want to feel that we have our shoulder blades in a comfortable position. Collarbone is nice and wide. We feel like the head is being supported by the mat underneath us. Center of the chest is soft. Tummy area, midsection area just feels nice and relaxed, and we can feel that the hips are being supported by the floor underneath us. Take an in-breath here. As we exhale, tuck the tailbone towards the nose. Inhale, rock the hips in the other direction. So if you've been following along, you'll know that any breath pattern I give you is just a suggestion. You will find your own breath pattern. So don't worry if you're inhaling when I say inhale and you're exhaling if I say, or vice versa. You know what I'm trying to say. Let's go. Let's find our neutral position with the pelvis where we're not tucking and tilting, bringing the heels towards our pelvis, collarbone smiling wide. Take an in breath and an exhale, bringing the spine up. So just regular pelvic curls to the first two, opening up through the front of the hips, making sure the rib cage isn't flaring up to the ceiling. Take an in breath. Exhale. Think about lengthening the spine as we come down. So my hips are trying to reach towards my heels as I come back down. Inhaling here. Exhale, peeling up. I'm also lengthening my hips away from my shoulders as I lift. Collarbone smiling nice and wide. Inhaling. And breathing out to come back down. So let's add our stretchy bits. Nice. Inhale. So we start off the same. We bring ourselves up. Once the hips are lifted, we bring the arms all the way up and overhead behind us. We keep reaching the arms overhead as we bring the spine back down. And then once the hips are onto the floor, we then bring the arms forward again. Reset the shoulders, collarbone smiling wide, inhaling. Exhale, peeling the spine up. Once the hips are up, arms are going to reach overhead. Find that space. Fingertips reaching away from the knees, knees reaching away from the fingertips. And then we keep that reach going as we bring the spine down. Arms come forward. If you see me moving my arms, it's because that table, I don't know why I didn't. Well, in fact, this is all the space I have. I was going to say, I don't know why I didn't push it back further. It's as far back as it can go. And then arms reaching. There we go. Keep reaching the arms. Keep lengthening through the spine as we bring the spine back down. Arms forward. Let's make this one the last one. So exhaling, coming up. Lifting the arms overhead. Reaching, reaching, reaching. Bringing the spine down. Remember, trying to work through each portion of the spine. The hips are the last thing to come down and flatten out onto the mat. Bring the arms forward. And then from here, we're going to hug the legs in. Rock the body from side to side if that feels good. Remember, you can also do circles here. You can circle the knees in opposite directions. You can then circle, reverse that as well. Or if you prefer to, both knees can go in the same direction. Coming into some ankle mobilizations here. So bringing both feet onto the floor, just so we can set our foundation, make sure the hips are as square as we can get them. I'm going to bring the right leg into a tabletop position first of all, and then lengthen that right leg up towards the ceiling. You can keep as much of a bend into your knee as you need to. And if you want to, you can also hold on to the back of the leg here. But from here, we're going to start circling the foot. So mobilizing, moving through the ankle as we circle the foot in one direction. Doesn't matter which way you start. Big wide circles. If you hear some clicking, it's because my ankles really needed this. That's better. And then reverse circle other direction. And then from here, we're going to flex and point. So flexing the foot, thinking about closing the front of the ankle and then opening the front of the ankle as the toes point up towards the ceiling. So flexing, pointing up. Nice. Another way you could think about it as the heel reaches up towards the ceiling as the toes look towards the nose, and then the heel looks down towards the floor as the toes point up towards the ceiling. From here, we're going to hold the foot in a flexed position, toes looking towards the nose, and this long leg is going to lengthen down towards the floor with the foot flexed. And then we're going to point the toes away from us to lift the leg up. Try not to hike up on the hip. And we flex foot down. This is 2. Pointing up. 3. 4. We're going to 6. So here's 5. And 6. Coming all the way up, bending that right knee, placing the right foot onto the floor, settling the hips back into the mat again. Excuse me, I'm literally stuck to my mat. And then from here, left leg comes into tabletop. And then we're going to lift that left leg up towards the ceiling. Remember, we're nice and, as square as we can get ourselves. From here, big circles through the ankle, going in one direction. And then reversing other direction. Bearing in mind that as we're doing our ankle mobilization, when we're circling, we want to make sure that we're just trying to get the ankle to move. Sometimes I'll see the hip trying to do that movement for people. We're really trying to get that ankle to move. So even if your movement is smaller, it's just encouraging that ankle to move. Toes point towards the nose, toes point up towards the ceiling. And we flex and point. Flexing, really reach the heel up towards the ceiling, point the toes. A few more. Last one. We need to end on a flexed foot. So flexing the foot, holding here, long leg lowers down towards the floor, pointing toes, lifting the leg 1. Flexing down 2, we've got 6 here, pointing up. 3. 4. 2 more. 5. And 6. Nice. From here, placing that left foot onto the floor, and we're going to bring ourselves up to a seated position. I'm going to go knees bent today. I'm going to go knees bent. Starts off nice and tall. The hands just come down wherever they lie. Shoulders away from the ears. Take an in-breath here. As you breathe out, look down towards your mat, pretending that your back is against a wall. We're going to peel our spine away from that imaginary wall. So it's this sense of the spine moving away from the wall, bone by bone. And then restacking in just a reverse pattern. I'll just quickly show you what that looks like with a straight leg. I mean, it's the same, it looks the same. We're going one more like this and we're adding on. I'm going back into my bent knees because that feels really good today. Okay, so from here, we're going to round the spine down and then lengthen the spine out. And I'm being vague because I just want you to feel it out in your spine. So all I'm saying is that we're rolling the spine away from our imaginary wall, reaching the spine out long. You might think forward on a diagonal. Doesn't matter how straight or long the spine gets, it's just a reach out. Rounding, restacking. Oh, let's do 2 more. Okay. Last one of these. And all the way up. Ooh, we have our thread the needle. So coming into a 4-point kneel. Pushing the chest away from the floor. I'm going to start with my right hand. Be careful with jewellery, so I tend to just flip my ring over because sometimes it can get caught onto the mat, by the way. So from here, taking the right arm just out to the side, doesn't have to go all the way up to the ceiling. Bringing that right hand through, behind the left hand, keeping it close to the wrist as possible. Threading through. There's your thread the needle. I'm bringing my head down, my shoulder down, and then pushing into then my left hand to help me come up, just to bring the arm out to the side. And again. We'll go for one more, so it's 3 each side. Switching, same on the other side, so taking the left arm out and then threading through. Normally I would just actually switch sides on the camera, but today I'm good where I am. Reaching out and then threading through. Here's number 2. Finding your twist, maybe even pushing that right hand into the floor to help your twist, if that feels good. Just feel it out. Last one. And then coming all the way up. Let's push back into our rest position. We have 2 cat stretches coming up now. So bringing ourselves into a 4-point kneel, it's a slightly different cat stretch. So we want the hands out a little further out than we normally would do. So look after your lower backs on this one. The important thing is not to dip too low. Don't dip the hips too low so that the lower back feels too much pressure. We start by reaching the spine long. So I'm looking back at my hips and I'm reaching my lower spine long. So I'm thinking about opening up through the hips. What I'm not trying to do is sink into my hips like this. There's a lengthen. And then drawing back. Rounding up. Lengthen the spine out. Looking back towards my hips. So there's a rounding, there's a ripple through the spine, it feels like for me. Open up through the front of my hips. We'll do one more of these. Now, I'm going to shuffle forward a tiny bit, just so I want my feet onto the mat for this next one. Same again, we round up, open up through the front of the hips, but this time on the way back, we swerve to the side. Come up through the middle. Push the hips out to the sides, come back. Up through the middle. Alternating sides. One more time each side. Last one. Lastly, bringing ourselves up into our 4-point kneel. This is our last move. Shoulders away from the ears. And then we're going to bring our right shoulder towards our right hip as we look back. Into center, other side, left shoulder towards left hip. Into center, looking over our shoulders, looking towards our hip. Into center and side bend. One more time each side. I'm on my right. And I'm on my left. And then we're coming into center. And one last time, just pushing back into your rest position. And that is day 6 all done. Join me for our final day in this Pilates challenge, day 7, where we are going to be working more within hip strengthening, but really mobility. So I look forward to seeing you then. Take care. Bye.